Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 28 of the StockGuy AL3X Show, the podcast covering topics around the world, business news, markets, money, sports. When people talk about it, Stocky and I talk about it. Guys, StockGuy AL3X Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube and Spotify. Follow the show on all major socials, guys. For all info about the show. Big, what's up, dude? It's been 2 weeks. You had a big, huge, massive trip to New York. You said it was your first time going to New York?
It was my first time going to New York City.
I can't believe that, dude. I can't believe a guy like you hasn't been to New York.
I don't like big cities, man. It's not my scene. You know what I mean?
I get that, but that's normally after you've gone to the big city and you made the assessment after the fact. Like New York.
It's not like I've never been to a big city before. You know, I've been to Chicago, I've been to California, I've been to Atlanta, I've been to, Los Angeles. Like I don't have that thing. Like I went on a whole rant on my stream today about how like you don't have to travel the world to have a fulfilled life. Like that's propaganda that's been pushed to you so that, Hilton loves it, American Airlines loves it, fucking Trivago loves it. You don't have to go see the world. Like you don't have to spend all your money to keep working to go to goddamn see fucking a beach somewhere else in the world. Like it's okay, like that's just not my thing, and it's a lot of money. I mean, trips are a lot of money. Let me tell you something. I usually don't tell about my personal finances, but I took my entire 5-member family and dog to St. Augustine for a week. That trip, I'm not even going to tell you how much money I lost by not streaming. That trip cost me $5,000 for 5 days.
$5,000 per day or $5,000 the whole time?
$5,000 for the 5-day trip.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, traveling can be kind of expensive.
That's stupid. I don't want to do that. Like when I travel, if it doesn't fit my backpack, I don't take it with me. If I'm gone for a week, fuck it. I'm wearing dirty clothes. I don't do all that. It's just too much shit. And then, making sure that the older, the in-laws are happy and they're vegetarian and this diet. And then the dog is okay and the baby's okay and the wife's okay. And then, oh my God, did I tell you my wife wouldn't talk to me for 2 days because of our podcast?
Because of this podcast?
Yes.
Did she listen and heard something you said?
So we were on the way up to St. Augustine and we were listening to the podcast, one of the podcast episodes. And it was the part where I was telling you about how like I had this connection with my daughter or whatever. And like I said in there, like the part where like, I've never really had connections with people before, like not even my wife. And I was saying it a little over exaggerating for to lead up to the story about how much I love my kid, but she took it personal. And for like the first 2 days didn't fucking talk to me, dude. It was so awkward. Oh my God.
Dude, that's on you, man. You gotta know. You gotta train your brain, dude. I know.
It's a podcast, man.
Train your brain.
And I found this out during the New York City summit. Is that I have a condition, and it's part of that severe ADHD. This is why when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm hyper. I have ADHD," I'm like, no, you don't. It doesn't affect your everyday life. Like I can't get simple tasks done because I can't focus. But more importantly, I have this thing where I just say what's coming to my mind in real time without like putting all the formulation of the thoughts together to say, and I offend people by being so blunt and straightforward. There was somebody at the summit, I'm not going to give their name out here because my chat already knows about it, but she was a streamer, smaller streamer, but she was a streamer that I had seen a clip of, and I introduced myself to her, and she told me her streamer name, and then I came back and I butchered it later on in a way that I guess was funny or kind of offensive, but it was a complete accident.
Come on now.
No, I swear to God,
you don't have to tell me what the name was, but like I know how you're
100%, because if I don't know you at all, I'm not gonna go down that line. Like I will fuck with you if I know you, but if I don't know you, and I fucked up their name, you know what? Fuck it, I'll tell you. Name is Chillbo Baggins, right? And I met her, and I seen a clip of her, and she's like, "Oh, it wasn't me. It was probably this other person." I'm like, "No, I remember it was you. This was this." I said, "Nice to meet you." And I met like 100 people that night that I never met. Later on that night, the next night, not even the same night, we're at karaoke, and we don't have our name badges on. And I'm talking to this little group of people about who's next, and they said, "I think she's next." I said, "Which one?" And they pointed there, and all my brain remembered was Bilbo Baggins, but it was a meme, right? And they're funny streamer, and so the first thing that came out was Bimbo Baggins. And it was just something.
Bimbo Baggins? Accidentally, obviously.
It definitely was. It definitely was, because I didn't know her, so I wasn't gonna like do that if I didn't know her, right? And I said, "Oh, Bimbo Baggins," and then everybody kind of laughed, and I felt like shit. Like I kind of felt like shit, because I didn't do it on purpose. But then that's not where I fucked up. Where I fucked up was the next day, I'm walking out and I'm going through the breakfast hall and I see a group of people there. And I was like, hey, it was nice to meet all you guys like that. And I saw her and I said, hey, listen, my bad about messing up your name last night. I wasn't trying to be funny or anything like that. It was a complete accident. And she goes, oh, no, it's not a big deal, whatever like that. But I appreciate you apologizing. And I immediately go, no, I wasn't apologizing. I was saying my bad.
That is an apology, bro. You say my bad, that's an apology.
But you have to understand, like in my brain, and this is why I fucked up, because in my brain, I only apologize if I did something like on purpose or actually hurt somebody, right? Like if I was actually trying to land a joke and it missed and offended, then I would apologize because I did it on purpose. But because it was an accident, I was not apologizing because I didn't do anything wrong, but I was saying, my bad on it. And I didn't realize, because I'm not thinking straight, or not giving myself time to think. I say, no, I'm not apologizing. I was saying my bad. And then that pissed her off so much that I'd never met this girl before. I don't know about her stream. I don't know anything about her, but I get tagged on Twitter the next day and I look and it's a tag from one of her tweets. So I open up her tweet. I'm blocked on Twitter. I'm like, I'm blocked on Twitter. I've never been blocked on Twitter. I was like, what's the playbook for this? I don't know what to do. So then I'm like, all right, let me go to her stream and say, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on or something happened, but whatever. I'm banned on her Twitch too.
Bro, intent still qualifies for something, regardless if you didn't intend it or not. This is why, if it's like, if someone,
I mean, was it so bad that like somebody,
this is why there's first, second, and third degree versions of something like murder, because intent's important, sure, but when something bad happens, it still happens. You still got to apologize. And also, it's not semantics. When you say my bad means I'm sorry.
That's my way of apologizing without saying. That's my way of saying, listen, that was unintentional. That was a mistake. I always feel like an apology is something you do if you hurt somebody, if you actually affect somebody, or you did it intentionally. Otherwise, it's like, hey, my bad, it won't happen
Listen,
again.
man, apologies are really, really good for relationships, man. You gotta lean more into the
apology.
What I'm
saying is that because I don't allow my brain doesn't allow me to formulate things before I say them, it just comes out. And some people fucking love me. Andy had the best fucking time of his life with me. The last like 24 hours, Andy just hung with me the whole time because he was on a trip. Like he was like, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm fucking loving it. And like everybody I met, it was just like, I got a new nickname there. They called me Tony Stark, but sassier.
That's too long of a name.
Sassy Stark.
Okay, that's a fine nickname. Did people call you Sassy
New York
Stark?
City was wild though, bro.
New York's
I had so many things.
But hold on, I want to revisit something in that first story because I want to hear something about Andy. Andy told me a story of y'all hanging out too, by the way. But I want to revisit one part. So you said you and Chilbo and a bunch of homies and friends were doing karaoke, right?
Oh God, why do you have a video? You look like you're about to pull up a video.
No, was that what happened?
Well, no. What happened was we were at a dinner the night before and everybody was there. And like, I didn't know 99% of the people there because I hang by myself. Like I'm the only stock streamer at my level. And I don't hang on Twitch on the offside. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go around. Like, I'm the kind of guy who, I told you the story about my mod's wedding about how I just like started eating, right? Because like nobody was eating. Like, I'm the kind of guy who's just going to go and whatever. I'm not waiting for everybody else. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Let me just go around while everybody's acting awkward and just introduce myself and hang with people. And so that's what I was doing. And then I ran into this group and I recognized that girl. And I was like, hey, I recognize you from a clip. And then that's when the conversation went off. And then after like a 5-minute little, chit chat session, I moved on to the next group of people.
Hold on, pull up your Discord, go to your DMs with me real quick.
Oh God.
Go to your DM with me. Do you happen to see something there right now?
Okay, that's me singing Scotty Doesn't Know.
Can you pull it up? Can you just pull it up real quick? And give it a look over, give it a watch. Also, we're gonna get into inflation, guys. It's gonna be the first story of the day, but tell me when you're watching because I want to hit play on this end as well.
Can I be honest? That hip thrust is fucking banging for my age.
Oh, you're watching? Okay, here you go. For anyone that needs to see. Yo, dig. Bro, Scotty Doesn't Know, bro. What a freaking banger of a karaoke track, man.
nobody saw it coming either. Like everybody was singing like the "Don't Stop Believing" and like all the classics, and I go to the guys like, bro, I'm going old school. I was like, some of these kids were in diapers when I was in Afghanistan. Like my coworkers were babies. I said, fuck it, we're going old school. And the thing is I didn't realize that I was dressed like somebody who might open fire later that night. Like I had no idea. I looked like the total like quintessential veteran, but like I was like, fuck it, we're gonna do it. And I fucking banged out to it, dude. I even humped the microphone, everything. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, you humped the microphone, all right. I got it on repeat over here right now.
Okay, dude. I'm glad Andy spilled the beans about all of our shit. Did he tell you about us, me forcing everybody to play hooky to go get pizza?
No, you can tell me about that in a second. Andy definitely spilled the beans today. I was streaming and he came in with the highest level of urgency I've ever seen Andy move. He came in his stream and goes, Alex, look at me. Look at my Discord. Look at my DM. Open your DM. Look at this video. Like, and that was what he shared. Andy, man. Shout out to Andy. Can't get his name wrong. A-N-D-Y. Shout out to Andy. He also told me a story about how you went and got a haircut. You know, I do want to hear. I do want to hear it from your
times.
I want to hear it.
Tell this story 20 times. I got so tired of telling it, but Andy was laughing every time I told it.
Wait, you were telling the story that much in New York to everybody?
Yes, because once I told them what happened, they're like, okay, we have to hear the story.
All right. Before we get into obviously, like you said, before we recorded, there's gonna be a lot of catching up. So, guys, we're gonna get to inflation.
We're not even gonna get to any stories. This is just gonna be us bullshitting in my
this
adventures
is why
in New York.
I flew to the run a show. This is why I was like, whatever. Let's just get some links down so we can start recording. So, can you tell the story of guys? This is the story of how Stocky went to a local barber to get a haircut. Didn't have any money.
I was forced to buy marijuana in order to get my beard trimmed.
Go ahead from the beginning, please.
All right, so I go to New York City and we're there at the summit, and I don't really give a shit what I look like, right? Because I mean, I'm not, I'm old, nobody's gonna fucking hit on me. I'm married, I don't care, whatever. So, but I still want to look somewhat presentable. So I thought I was good. I go there. My beard grows very fast. So the first night I'm there and I'm like, it's kind of scraggly. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go first morning. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to find a barber. It's New York City. It's Brooklyn. There's got to be barbers everywhere, right? So I get up, I go have breakfast. And fun fact, I was trading Tesla options during breakfast, right? Everybody else is a half asleep. I'm making like $2,000 doing this, but I'm so focused trading that I'm eating scrambled eggs with my hand and I'm trading with the other hand. And by the time I finish my trades, I go, fuck yeah. And I look up and everybody's just staring at me like I'm some kind of weirdo. And I was like, whatever. So I go upstairs and then I go down and I'm like, all right, let me find a barber. So I look on the map, I find the barbers, and I walk downstairs and I start walking. Now, New York City streets, I've never walked the streets, but it's a big city, it's there's like lots of little shops and stuff and everything like that. So I go to the first place on the map, it's closed down. I'm like, shit, okay. So I'm like, all right, let me walk a little further. And then the next place is shut down too. So now I have to walk further. Now I'm starting to get into a little bit of the not hood, but like a little bit more of the like New York area, you know what I mean? Not the place that they keep nice for the tourists. So I start walking, and now I start seeing like wig and weave places and like places for hair. And then I see a barbershop thing, right? So I start walking and I don't see the barbershop. And I'm like, what the fuck's this barbershop? And then I notice it's underground. Like there they have like one shop's underground, one shop's overground, and that's how they do it. Yeah, to do it. So I look down there and I'm like, oh shit, like this, I've seen this movie, right? But whatever. So I go down in there and there's two old timers in there, two old timers in there, and they're just sitting there. And there's one lady just like fixing her weave in front of the mirror. And I'm like, all right, this is quintessential New York. Okay, we're good. So I go there and I'm like, they're like, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, I just need to get my beard done. He's like, come on, sit on down here. So I sit down and I sit there and the guy's like, all right, what are we doing? And I said, just get my beard lined up. He's like, I'll take care of it. So he spins me around, and as he spins me around, right behind me is a wall. And there's blood on the wall, okay? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's a barber shop. Shit happens, whatever. And then right next to where the blood on the wall is, there's like an opening with a red sheet, and on it is like a little printout that somebody went to Kinko's to make that says like tarot cards, astrology, and palm readings, call whatever for this. And I'm like, at first, as a business guy, I'm thinking, that's smart. Rent your place out to somebody who does that shit. Why not, right? It's free money. But then I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is a barber shop, and they've got, okay, whatever. I'm cool. I'm just here to get my beard shaved. So I'm sitting in the chair, and the guy starts doing my beard or whatever like that, and then he starts doing the top part here, but I can't see what he's doing. I just said all I want is a lineup. That's it. So then he does everything. Then he leads me back, and he starts doing a little bit of the shave with the razor, and then it starts. They start arguing. And the other guy goes, yo, where were you yesterday? And he goes, what are you talking about? What was I yesterday? He's like, your phone was off all day. He's like, my phone's on right now. He's like, motherfucker, I ain't talking about today. I'm talking about yesterday. He's like, it don't matter where I was yesterday. I do whatever the hell I want. I don't need this shit. Plus the owner of this place, she don't give me no damn respect and I'll cut a motherfucker. And I got the blade here, and the motherfucker says the word, I'll cut a motherfucker.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, okay, now I know why there's blood on the wall. I'm like, all right, my man, can we just get this done with? Can you just clean me up? And so every time he starts getting aggressive and talking, like he stops, right, with the blade. Like he's not, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to die, and I'm going to be the next blood spot on the wall. And so then he starts going again, and he starts cleaning me up again, and he goes, I don't need to be here. I can be anywhere. All I need is a chair and a thing. I can cut. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, shit. I'm like, so he leans me up, and I noticed he brings my mustache down, right? Like it's like a pencil mustache. And I want to look at the dude and be like, bro, what the fuck is this? This isn't what I wanted. But at this point, I'm like, I just need to get the fuck out of here. So I pop up and he's like, how's it look? I was like, it looks great, man. Appreciate you, whatever like that. And I was like, all right, who do I pay? Do I pay you or up front? He's like, you pay me. And I said, all right, do you take card? He goes, no, we only take cash. I'm like, okay, what about Venmo or Cash App? He's like, nah, we only take cash. I was like, fuck, all right. So I go to their ATM machine, and their ATM machine is not working. And I'm like, shit, all right. So I said, it's not working. He goes, no, go next door. So I go next door, their ATM machine's not working. Like the whole system's down. So I go across the street, their ATM machine's not working. I can't find an ATM machine that works. The guy's sitting outside smoking his like rolled up fucking cigarette. Like I'm talking old school, right? And I'm like, this guy's watching me like a hawk. Like I can't go nowhere. Like he's probably got some boys around the hood. Like I can't take off for this. I'm not that guy anyways. So then I'm like, all right, let me find the next shop. I go into the next shop and I see, and I'm not really paying attention, but I see an ATM machine and it's working. So I go to pull out the money. Now the guy was only charging me $10 for the fucking for the the shave. And so I was like, I pull out the money and I was like, shit, I need to get change, but he doesn't have any cash. So I noticed I'm in a fucking weed store. Now I totally forgot that New York City's legalized weed, right? So I'm in a fucking weed store. So I'm like, shit, all right, whatever. So I walk up to the counter, I go to the guy and I say, hey man, can I get some change? And he goes, and I respect it now, but he goes, gotta buy something. I was like, oh fuck.
So you had already, you went to the ATM and then you got
the cash, and I go up to him to ask if he could break some into change for me, right? And he goes, you got to buy something first. I was like, shit. I was like, fuck, like whatever. I just need the change. Like I could have gone and just gave the guy $40 and just be done with it. But like at this point, I'm committed to the situation. So I look at him, I say, all right, dude, fine, you're hustling. I respect it. I was like, all right, what's the cheapest thing you got? And this is what he does. He goes, them nuggets over there. And I look over and there's fucking glass bottles of like containers of nuggets of weed. I'm like, I can't buy a nugget of weed and fucking walk around New York City with this back to my hotel to the Twitch summit. Like that's not the stock guy, right? Like I'm supposed to be this other guy. I don't even smoke weed. So I'm like, I don't know what to do here. So I look at the dude and I'm like, dude, I can't buy that. I said, do you have any like just joints or pre-rolls? And he goes, yeah, we got plenty. And I said, what's the cheapest one you got? And so he does this again. He goes, we all out of the small ones. I was like, motherfucker.
No,
I was
bro,
like,
no shot. This guy.
He says we're sold out.
He didn't sell like gum or like a trinket.
He knew he had me by the balls, and I was committed. So he goes, I said, all right, what do you have? He goes, I got this one, and he throws it on the desk. And it's a 2-gram fucking pre-roll with a glass tip, hybrid. And I'm thinking to myself, but I'm committed. Like at this point, I could have just gone across and bought a fucking weave from the girls at the other store. But I'm committed at this point. And I'm like, I can't walk out of here like this. So I was like, all right, how much is it? He goes, $35. I was like, motherfucker, I got to buy a $35 joint in New York City to get fucking change. So I buy the joint and then I go across, I give the guy his money. And now I've got to walk back like 6 New York blocks to the hotel carrying a joint this fucking tall. Right. So I keep forgetting because remember, I'm old school. Yeah, but I'm old and I grew up in older and I grew up in a time when it wasn't legal in any states, right? Like weed was never legal back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Most of the people listening to this grew up in a time where it was not legal. So I think we all understand the idea of carrying around weed and trying to conceal it and being like a little.
I understand, but like I was in Twitch, right? And they're all younger people. So they grew up, they all live in California and New York and everything. So like I tuck this under my shirt, right? Like it's just a habit. So like I'm walking back to the hotel. I get to the hotel, I go upstairs and I put it down and I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? I can't take this this on the plane with me. I was like, but it's $35. And I grew up so poor that if you spend $35 on something, you gotta fucking use it. You don't waste $35. So that's another story for another time. But
no, that's not another story for another time, because Andy spilled the beans on that story as well.
This motherfucker,
Andy,
dude, this motherfucking snitch.
On stream too. Not even like, this wasn't like a
on
call.
Whose stream? Your stream?
His.
When, today?
Yesterday.
Oh, I'm gonna get this motherfucker.
Yesterday, him and I were talking, and he tells this story, so you might as well indulge. That $35 whatever piece thing, that got fully consumed. Let's just jump to the straight end of this story. That thing,
Andy wasn't there. All right, first of all, I'm a snitch on Andy. Andy was supposed to go and partake with me and ended up having to take a call from his girlfriend that lasted really long up in his room. He bitched out on me. Whatever. So I'm like, I gotta smoke this shit, right? And like I've told everybody this story, and so now I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna smoke this alone, because I told you what happened to me in Denver, right? Like the last time I smoked weed was 3 years ago, and I got so fucking high out of my mind, I lost my shit. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna smoke this time, but I'm not gonna make the same mistake, right? I'm gonna be smart with it. So I'm trying to find people to smoke with me. Now, I never thought it'd be hard to find people to smoke weed with, right? Like, because I don't smoke weed, but I figure like everybody does, you know, whatever. So finally, I convinced, and I won't say any names, the fucking Twitch staff to come blaze with me, right? And these guys, it's funny because it's legal there. It's the same as booze. So there's not like they're doing anything wrong, right?
I don't think it's a big deal, bro. Why do people make it? Listen, I haven't smoked since college, but I don't do it because I don't like the way I feel. Not because I feel like it's wrong. Like, if people want to do it, just do
That's
it.
The same with me. I don't like the feeling. Same reason I don't drink. I don't like the way I feel, and then the next day is ruined. So what I do is I get a couple guys, and it's all Twitch staff, and we go downstairs, and this is like the last night. It's like midnight, right? And we go downstairs, and we go out front of the hotel, and I'm still freaking out because like I'm not used to being able to do this, and I haven't smoked in 3 years. So I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to fuck up like I did last time. Okay, I'm going to be smart. So I light it up, and I take a small drag. And I hand it to the other guy, and he smokes, and I send it to the other guy. And then then somebody goes, what are you doing with fucking weed? And I say, well, I was forced to buy weed to get my beard done. Well, we got to hear the story. So now I'm having to tell the story, and I'm not remembering what I said to myself. So they hand me the thing back, and I fucking go full blast like I'm vaping.
Yeah, because we all see the way you suck down that vape, man. You freaking suck that thing down. Can't smoke weed like that.
Yeah, well, but the thing is because I'm not consciously thinking about it, I do that twice in a row and then hand it over. And then a few minutes later, I start feeling that tingle in my throat. And I knew I fucked up.
So you got freaking out of your mind you went to New York. New York. You know what I mean? You're trying to have that street savoir faire like Billy Joel in Oliver and Company, and you freaking rip that thing like it's a vape, and you spent the next 8 hours just on the freaking next level.
So I start finishing up my story, but it starts hitting me, and I start forgetting where I'm at in my story. But I'm in that part where you're getting so high that you forget why you're telling the story, but you can remember kind of where you are in the story. And then you get to the point where you forget where you are in the story, and then you start like getting completely out of it. So then I said to myself, okay, I'm fucked up. I'm super fucked up, like beyond fucked up. But it's enough for me to know that I need to just go up to my room. And everybody's like leaving to go to the bar, and I'm not going to drink. So I'm like, I'm going to go. And I'm there with like one of the top guys at Twitch who went down with me. He wasn't going to smoke with me. He was smoking a cigarette, but he wanted to hang out. And I was like, okay, I need to go up to my room. I need to go up to my room so I don't fucking say anything or do anything. I am so fucked up. I need to go to bed. And just as I'm about to leave, the other head person for the entire summit event, it's a girl. She's in charge of all community relations and stuff like that. I hear her walk up and she goes, "The Stock Guy, I've so been looking forward to finally meeting you." And I look down at the other guy, the head Twitch guy, and he goes, "Oh no."
Oh God.
And I go, "Oh no." You know, like I knew this. I was like, of all times you could have met me. I am sober 365 days a year. 4 out of 5 years, you know, every half decade. Like one day I got high 3 years ago. This is the time you come to finally meet me. And I don't remember everything I said, but Madrinas got brought up, and I made a fool of myself about something. And
wait, hold on. What do you mean Madrinas got brought up?
So I was wearing, this is the only bits and pieces I remember.
Yeah, like you were in the karaoke video. You're wearing a Madrinas.
I was wearing a Madrinas thing, and she goes, "Oh, how about a cup of whatever of Madrinas?" And I was like, "Oh, is that from my tweet?" And she goes, what are you talking about? No, because you're wearing the shirt. And me being so high, I was talking about the tweet with Andy where I called him out, but I couldn't get through the story, and it was just a disaster. So finally, I remember saying, I hope to meet you again in a better situation. And I decided to walk up to my room. And as I'm walking up, I look down and I see Andy sitting there with all these other people. And I just smile at him and give him a thumbs up, and I go to bed. And that was it. That was it until the next day.
All things considered, I feel like you did a pretty good job. Round of applause there. You didn't call this person bimbo, so I feel like in that situation, wasn't a total
I didn't
L.
do that. I don't call people I don't know names. It was an accident.
No, you did, but you didn't intend to. Bro, it sounds like you went to New York, you had a good time. At least I hope, bro. I hope you got around and had some good food, because the thing that New York does better than anything is food, bro.
Madrinas actually, fun fact, I was at the karaoke, and there was this girl. She seemed I didn't see her at first, but she was there, and I was standing there, and she goes, "Oh, you are you partnered with Madrinas?" And I go, yeah. I said I have a coffee bean with them and everything like that. She said, "Oh, that's awesome, whatever." And that was the only interaction we really had. And then we ended up being near each other during karaoke. She seemed really cool. She seemed like a down to earth chick who was just like, one of those girls that you seems like they're like into vinyl records and black and white photos, like kind of like down to earth about it though. Totally cool. And then I did a video of, which I have in my phone, of like everybody dancing out, and my community went nuts because of who it was.
Who was it?
Sasha Grey.
Sasha Grey?
Yeah.
Hold on. Do you have any like pictures or anything like that?
Just Google it, Sasha Grey.
Sasha Grey. American actress. Sasha Grey.
It's all right.
Also streamer on Twitch. Okay.
Yeah, just type in Sasha Grey videos.
Yeah, you just tell me what's up. What? Oh. Hey, who cares, bro? Did you tell her about your videos? Did you tell her about? Did you tell her about
she
your
was there.
videos?
I had heard her name before, but I'd never watched any of her adult stuff. But like everybody lost their mind, like, "Oh my god, this fucking Sasha Grey, Stocky's party with Sasha Grey." And I didn't even know who the fuck that was. Like I had heard the name before, but I didn't know who she was. I didn't know her face. I didn't recognize her. But she just seemed like a cool chick, like she was just like a normal chick. Like you would never know that she was a very famous adult film star at one point. So
like I said, did you? Break that, sort of freaking that mold there and tell her?
I didn't. We didn't really. We just kind of like were singing and stuff like that. Like we didn't have a conversation. I didn't even know who it was until somebody said something later on. But she recognized Madrina. So congratulations. You have a very famous person who knows your brand. You might want to sign her soon.
We already had a very famous person. We had the stock guy that knew our brand.
No, not that kind of
thing. We already had a very famous person. Come on, man. Listen,
somebody asked if I went up to her and said, "Hi, appears that we both used to work in the same industry."
That's what I'm saying. Did you bring up your video? Your past?
No, I'm not fucking weird like that.
Hey, you know what I did once? I did something like what you do. What was the best place you ate? You said you were making everyone wait for pizza. Was that a story like at the very beginning?
No, so I knew hotel food is shit because I used to work in hotels. And so I went downstairs and I'm like, I'm not eating this shit. And I walked in there and it was like some like faux Chinese crap. It smelled horrible. And so I said, I'm not eating this. So I told Andy, I said, Andy, we're going to get pizza. I said, we're in New York City. I'm not eating this shit. Let's go get pizza. So I grabbed Andy. I grabbed Ariel. And then as I'm walking out, I grabbed this other guy. Turns out to be a guy named Trihex. And there was a funny conversation there. And so I just grabbed these random...
Trihex is, I think, dating Black Anti-Venom, who's a Madrina's partner also.
I have no idea, but I didn't know who he was. And you want to know? Remember that whole thing I told you about not thinking before I speak? He's downstairs with me. I've never met him, didn't know who he was, never seen him before. And he goes, "I'm Trihex, by the way," because I literally just grab people. I'm like, "Listen, we're not eating this shit. You want to go play hooky and get pizza? Let's fucking go. I'm paying for the Uber. I'm paying for the pizza. Let's go." I was just that guy. And so we're downstairs. He's like, "I'm Trihex, by the way." He's like, "You might know me, the try hard emote. That's me." And I said, "Oh yeah, I banned that emote." Like that's the first thing I fucking said. Like I didn't even think to the repercussions of saying that. It was just that
there's no repercussion. That's funny.
You know what I mean? But like my brain was like, "Oh yeah, I do recognize that emote because I had to ban it because people were using it the wrong way." Well, he just goes, yeah, you're not the first one to do that.
That's
And I
what I
was
mean.
like, "Oh,
That's
not-"
good, man. That's some good. I call
Yeah,
that.
but some people can handle people being straightforward. Others get their feelings hurt.
Yeah,
So
but I call
don't know.
that social lubrication. That kind of breaks the ice a little bit. It's kind of like a funny.
But this is why
ha-ha.
people either love me or fucking hate me, and mostly hate me. But that's okay. That's okay, because the thing is that I'm one of those guys where I have very few friends, but I'm ride or die for my friends. You know what I mean? And my friends are usually ride or die for me. Like, they're like, because a lot of people in this world always say, "Oh man, I appreciate people that are straightforward. I wish people were straightforward, and I wish people just said what they thought. I wish people were very direct." They say that until they say something that they don't like, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh,
Well,
why would
listen,
you? You're
it's
an
also
asshole.
listen. You also got to be respectful and nice. They want to hear things straight up and how they are, but also in a respectful way. So you gotta. That's
Well,
like the art.
I'm not
that's
mean.
like
I don't like say mean things or something like that. But a lot of times I'll just say what's on my mind. Like, I don't look at somebody that I'm a friend of and be like, "Hey man, you're a piece of shit." I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
but
I'm
you
not
can
that
frame
person.
those things. If you like, I was talking, just like we were talking about at the beginning of this freaking podcast about how your wife gave you the freaking cold shoulder for 2 days. You could frame those things sort of positively, deliver them respectfully, and people can understand that kind of stuff. But if you just let it fly, sort of just completely like unabashed, just like, here, I don't give a shit about how you think this sounds. Let me just give you some words. Let me just give you some brain
That's
stew.
not how it goes. I mean, I don't know, because obviously I'm the one spewing the words, but I would feel like 90% of the time, if you spend enough time with me, you'll understand like what I mean by what I say. I'll give you a great example, and my wife laughs about it all the time. One time we got raided by this girl, Kiara Kitty. She's kind of a friend of the show. And I was like, "Oh, Kiara," and she like wears very revealing outfits or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, Kiara." I was like, "Oh, nice stream." I said, "I saw you on there." I said, "Guys, can we get a dono goal for Kiara? It looks like for last time I was on her stream, it looks like she doesn't have any clothes that fit her. Can we get a dono goal so we can get some clothes for her, because she apparently doesn't have anything that fits her like that." And one guy in my chat goes, "Stocky says thanks for the raid." like people know like the way I am. And a lot of it is too, because I don't know how to express myself outside of humor and sarcasm, because as somebody who's gone through the kind of life and trauma and bullshit and bullying and the shit that I went through in my life, I had to learn to utilize that as a way of kind of like, getting across things. And so it's a weird mix. I don't know. I don't know how people perceive me, because I can't perceive me outside of my own brain. So whatever.
Listen,
I'd
man,
like to think I'm a genuine person, at least.
Also, some people do get offended very easily, and like if I've heard you tell me like, oh, I've heard you say like, oh, I've offended people before. Yeah, you know what? Some people got to recognize that your delivery is sarcasm and humor. So it is what it is. I'm glad you had a good time in New York.
There's so many more stories. We'll go over another time.
I'm glad you had a good time hanging out with Andy and co.
Did I tell you about what happened in St. Augustine?
No.
Oh, God, that's another conversation. Let me tell you this right here, though. This is the only thing I want to bring up from St. Augustine, because we just spent 40 minutes of this show just only me talking about New York City.
It's fine.
I fucked up big time in St. Augustine. So not only did I fuck up ahead of time, we went to Melbourne for 2 days. We had a great little house on the water there. It was great. We saw my grandparents. Then we go up to St. Augustine. And the first night, I'm like, I'm one of those people where like I can ruin a vacation on accident, because I don't care about me. I care about everybody else. Like, I want everybody to have a good time. And I'm very big at like planning out the vacation. Like, let's not have too much downtime unless we all just kind of want to rest. Like, let's not just sit around. Like, the idea of going on a vacation to a new city and everybody just sitting around on their phones just destroys my brain, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, let's experience it. So like I make like a schedule, and like I'll rush people. Like, I'll be like, all right, guys, we got to go. We got 15 minutes. You guys are still in the shower. Like, we got to get going. And that could piss people off, because then they'll feel overwhelmed and not have a good time. But at the same time, at the end of the vacation, everybody's like, oh my God, that was awesome. We did so much shit. But I fucked up without thinking. First night there, I'm like, old city, Spanish, deaths, yellow fever, war. I'm like, haunted tour. I'm like, let's do a fucking haunted tour, right? Like, city haunted tour. So I get us this, private, almost semi-private walking tour of the old city. And we go to all the old graveyards and all the old this.
That sounds
and
pretty cool.
that. It was awesome. Until I realized at the end of this that both my in-laws are deeply religious. and they come from a religion and culture that believes in reincarnation and spirits. And the entire time, my mother-in-law had her head wrapped and was saying prayers because she was afraid that a spirit, like an evil spirit, was gonna like.
Oh God. That was, dude. Hold on. Did that put you in the doghouse, or was there any element of your wife was pissing you for 2 days because you scared the living shit out of her mom, or was it just the comments from the podcast? Because I could see it breaking both ways. I could see it breaking both ways.
The podcasting was on the way up the first day. The first 2 days we were in Melbourne. By the time we left Melbourne, she was talking to me again, and then we get to St. Augustine, and the first night is when this happened. So yeah.
Listen, man, it's been 2 weeks since we've been able to record. A lot's been going on. You went on vacay. The New York trip happened right there. In a few weeks, obviously even more is going to happen. We're going to be having our little boy in July. So big, huge, massive summer. Dude, I'm so ready for this guy to be here. I don't know what the hell we're going to do when he's here.
I think I just broke my mic.
You did. You gotta
keep going.
You gotta reattach that thing. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do when he's here, because we've never parented it before.
You're not gonna sleep, and you're gonna. I want you to take a picture of your hairline right now and look at it in 2 years, and I want us to compare what it does to you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, no doubt it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a shit show. I'm so excited to see him. I'm so excited to meet him. He's doing a lot of kicking right now and punching through the flesh wall. He's making contact with me through it, like while we're sleeping at night.
Did you just call your wife's uterus the flesh wall?
Yeah, man, like the stomach.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like punching,
Can I tell you something though?
Through that thing.
Let's have a wholesome moment. Let's have a wholesome moment. I always tell people that, being a parent, like I told you, is like skydiving, right? Anybody can tell you what it's like, the whole 9 yards, but until you jump out of the plane, not like skydiving, like you're falling for your life, but like, you can't, until you feel it, no matter what anybody tells you, you don't know what it is. And it's the same way when I was a bit, but can I tell you something, dude? And I'm never that guy who says somebody should have kids because it'll be great for their life and stuff like that. No, because some people, it's not good. I mean, I hear parents out there saying, "Oh, I'm glad I had kids in my 20s because then they'll be out of the house when I'm in my 40s." I'm like, you haven't even had the kid yet, and you're already looking forward to them leaving. Like, shut the fuck up. You don't have to have kids. But what I can tell you is my God, dude. I have never been so fucking happy with something in my life. Like making my little girl laugh and just seeing that joy. Like, for example, she's got this thing now where every time I sweep, she wants to take the broom and help me sweep.
That's
so you know
amazing.
what I did? I overnighted a toddler set of brooms and stuff like that. And now when I sweep, she's there sweeping with me. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
It's such a great moment. I bought her a tent, a pink tent, like a big pink tent outside. And I put it up and put little pillows in there. And she loves it, brings her little baby in there. And last night I went in because she's usually asleep by the time it's dark. And I put little LED stars and she just had a blast. And we were drawing with chalk on the sidewalk. And it feels awesome. And most people look at me and say, "Oh, this guy's a fucking asshole," right? I'm not an asshole. I'm a dick. An asshole is somebody who tries to hurt people. A dick is just somebody who just doesn't, whatever. But, at the end of the day, dude, I would do anything for my daughter. And let me tell you something, man. I don't know if it's going to be this way for you, but you seem like a lot like me in a lot of ways. You seem like a humbler version of me. And let me tell you something. You're going to fucking love it, dude. I mean, maybe your kid's an asshole. I don't know. But I never thought that this would be the one thing that would make my life better. And it really has. It has made my life so much better. And I am so happy to be a dad. And something what's funny is that I always wanted a boy because I was the last one in my giant family with a lot of history to have the last name Frank. And I'm the only one who can pass on our name. And I was like, I got to have a boy and this and sports. And you know something? Whether we have another kid, whether we have a boy, it doesn't matter, dude. I fucking love that little girl, dude. I am so down to like fucking tea party with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so excited. Like I've seen the way it's impacted you. Obviously, you see the way it impacts anybody as you walk or as you go throughout life. So like, I'm just excited to get to that point. We're like 4 or 5 weeks away from that. That is a very wholesome moment from Stocky. It's very, 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 very wholesome, very, very positive, very, very up moment. Let's flip the script and talk about what's not up and what's not making people happy at all. And that is the current sort of economic situation of our world, because believe it or not, we are 40 minutes into this podcast. We have yet to cover one damn story. Guys,
these podcasts are always more fun.
They're always more fun, and people listen to these ones way more. Guys, CPI surges 8.6% year over year in May, stronger than expected, with energy prices soaring. Of course, We all knew. We all know that. But Stocky, what's going on right now in the world? Like, can you give the TLDR of why the world seems fucked, financially?
I mean, here's the thing. We printed our way. We did quantitative easing, which was basically, hey, the economy has come to a grinding halt. We need people to spend to keep the economy going, so we're going to print money. So we did that. But then when we got to a point of kind of an equilibrium, like not quite an equilibrium, but kind of getting there, we went from quantitative easing to quantitative spending. We just kept printing. We just kept spending. And that drove inflation up. And so we're like, okay, we got to stop this before it keeps going, but we can't because we're going to go into recession. So let's hope it fixes itself. So they kept spending and the supply chains never fixed themselves. So demand was still there. Supply was low. Prices kept going up. And now we're at a point where they're like, oh shit, we have to do something, right? And the thing is it's like, all right, well, if we raise the federal funds rate, it's going to stop people from spending, but it's going to crash our economy. And so they waited. Inflation didn't stop, and it's gotten so high. But here's the thing about this last report. The report before was the first one that was lower than expectations. So everybody's like, oh, maybe we peaked. This last one came out, and it was high again, higher than the one even before the one that was low. And more importantly, unlike some of the past reports where the inflation numbers were kind of like inflated, no pun intended, by used vehicles and travel and hospitality and stuff, this one was food, 12% higher year over year. This is the highest since Jimmy Carter was president. Energy, 36.5% up year over year, the highest since 2005. And shelter, where the average rent in America is now $2,000 a month. That is average, okay? That is insane. Gas, according to AAA, which is not Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy showed $5 a gallon on average 2 weeks ago. AAA is more important because they show like wholesale and like memberships and stuff like that. They jumped 18 cents a gallon over week to over $5 a gallon national average, and it's only going up right now.
Yeah, gas right now, I feel like it's going to get to $10, or I feel like I've been told that it's going to get to like $10 out in LA and California.
I mean, LA, when I was there in January or February, it was $6.50. It's like almost $8 now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to keep going. It's out of hand. Have you seen that?
Think about what happens. People don't travel. Uber's fucked. I mean, their drivers are gonna start quitting because they're not getting enough money to supplement that. On top of that, everything that has to be shipped, oil prices are through the roof. Everything that gets shipped is more expensive, which passes the cost off to you. Oil makes up everything that's plastic, right? So the petroleum-based plastics are there. And then, you've got heating and cooling. You got this massive heat wave coming right now, and people have to cool down their houses. Natural gas is all-time high. I mean, it's just insane. The purchasing power of the dollar is gone. And there's no more stimulus checks.
It says, so much for the idea that inflation has peaked. Consumer prices blew past expectations, and not in a good way, with the 8.6 annual increase, the fastest in more than 40 years. Worse, the increases were nearly ubiquitous, just no place to hide, said Bankrate chief financial analyst Greg McBride. Dude, so much of this, obviously, the world over the past 2 years has just been absolutely fucked three ways, since 2019. And so we don't really know how to pinpoint one thing, but it's just sort of like it's all sort of come into one sort of vortex and has screwed everybody. And, there's an element of, we could have seen this coming, right? I mean, you even were saying like a year ago, like, when interest rates are so low, but the world is still so effed, and the market has these, random days of prosperity. Like at some point you kick the can down the road. I feel like that was what you were getting at least a year ago. You were talking a little bit about, that idea of just
there
deference.
was no option. I mean, the option was either run us into a recession or hope that this cools off and we have what's called a soft landing. But transitory inflation didn't happen, and it didn't cool off for a soft landing. So now the Fed has two choices: either let it keep going until we go to stagflation, which is much harder to recover from, or put the economy into recession. They have to put the economy into recession. They have to cool it off.
Yeah, I mean,
God, my community is bored right now and making a bunch of these again. Oh God.
Oh my God, bro. This is not, guys, if you're watching this, I'm going to subject you to this because why not? This is something that's happening over in Stocky's Discord. Why the hell not, bro? Why the hell not, dude? So there's an element, though, of like when interest rates were so dang low for so long and the economy started to overheat, and obviously everyone knows what's been going on with housing. But like, and I'm sorry, I'm going to keep this on the screen just until I pull up this.
Which one?
The purple dress.
Oh.
Is the one I have up. Oh! No, I'm not pulling that one up. We're not pulling that one. Yeah, you know what? Let's pull this one up. Guys, whatever. This is what's going on over in Stocky's Discord right now. Join the Stock Guys community on Discord. You get this type of content. You get this type of content.
Podcast, be thankful.
So when the interest rates are so low, just generally speaking, people's risk tolerances are exposed to riskier and riskier investments just because capital doesn't cost as much. So you can take your money into a lot of different places. The whole freaking world kind of shifted, and those that are normally like heavy into super risky stocks, a lot of those people are the ones that were super into crypto. And that's like the guy said in the article. He said there's nowhere to hide. Crypto right now is absolutely just freaking tanking. And I just saw last night during the Warriors Celtics game, I think crypto.com was running an ad saying like, here's all the times in the history of crypto's life where everyone said crypto's dead. You know what I mean? But this is just no exception.
I think it's gonna fall all the way back down to the peak of 2017, which is 19.5. That's what I'm eyeing.
With Bitcoin?
Yeah, because that was the peak in 2017 before it came crashing back down to 3,000. Ooh, did you see the new one I just sent you? So in my opinion, I'd be surprised to see if that becomes the new bottom or not. If it's not, yeah, you are.
All right, whatever.
You're
a
Scarlett.
Fine.
You're a Scarlett Johansson fan.
Is that who this is?
If you are a fan of Scarlett Johansson, do not open this video right now.
This should not. The world shouldn't see this, and I'm sorry that on this.
The world should see this. If I have to see it, you have to see it.
No, all right. So
the funny thing is you're strangely aroused right now. You're worried that something was just awakened inside of you.
There's a website, NewYorkMag.com posted this article. It says crypto is crashing. It deserves to. Bro, can we chill out with these headlines like this?
No. I'm not gonna. This is the one time I'm not gonna shit on these people, because crypto bros deserve this for being those little shitheads the whole time it was going up. Like, I'm happy you're making money, and you don't have to be humble, but to always shit on people and say, "Oh man, you're not in crypto. Crypto's the future. You're fucked. I'll see you at Bitcoin 100,000. You're gonna be fucking broke. You're gonna be sitting as a slave to fiat currency while we're fucking and now it's falling and you're all quiet." It's like, bro, listen, understand the risk. Don't try to tell everybody they're stupid because they're not in this thing. Listen, enjoy the ride. Be smart. Leg in, leg out. Do your thing. But crypto bros, thank God NFTs didn't last that long. But crypto bros and broettes, or whatever the fuck they're called, are the reason. Remember that clip? Do you remember that clip that I had? That famous clip I had about crypto?
Yeah, 100%. We watched it. We watched it 2 podcasts ago.
I don't want crypto to fail because I want to lose. I want you to. Yeah, that's kind of what it's at right now. Like, I don't want to see crypto because I invest in the back end of crypto. I invest in the miners, and I invest in the blockchain technology, because I believe crypto and some form of cryptocurrency is the future. I just don't know what coin it's going to be. So instead of me trying to figure out which coin it is, let me just get in on the shit that is the back end, and that's what I'm looking for.
So this article says, if you're anything but a diehard observer of the crypto markets, all the crashes, frauds, Ponzi schemes, and criminal indictments that have plagued the market during the past 6 months have been something of a blur. Crypto is volatile, but it lives at the margins of the financial world. In the US, at least, traditional markets and the broader economy have never really integrated with digital currencies, and most people don't use Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Ethereum on a day-to-day basis like the dollar. When bad news happens, it can feel like hearing about a coup in a country you're only vaguely aware of. But bad for somebody, sure, but does it affect me? So when Bitcoin started to crash over the weekend, then continue to fall below 23K at its lowest point in 18 months, it might have seemed like just another point of red on the downward continuum, another crypto winner that its advocates will tell you is part of a natural cycle that strengthens and purifies the market. Bro, I don't know about strengthens and purifies. I just think it's a risky investment.
A natural cycle. It's down 65% from its high.
Yeah, it says, and maybe it is, but the crash this weekend looks like more than just a reset after things got too hot. These are signs that the system could be breaking and that the money propping it all up was less solid than it seemed. I don't think that it was less solid. I just think it was on the backs of a time where money didn't cost as much as it normally does. And so people were like,
but
hey.
Also, crypto is not money. It is not a currency. They call it cryptocurrency, but it's not a currency because you can't spend with it. You have to literally use your money to buy it and then sell it to get money to spend. You can't spend it. I don't know why they call it cryptocurrency.
I mean, well, because it was.
Oh God, you could spend it in fucking some weed shop in.
That's what
Denver.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's like it originated with all that black market sort of stuff. I don't understand it, bro. All I know, I mean, the actual trading of it on the internet, I don't understand. I kind of understand it from the trading and it being a store of value. I get that. And you have all these new, FTX and everybody's, dude, the craziest thing, are you watching any of the NBA finals at all? Or any of the Stanley Cup finals at all?
No.
Or playoffs? there's always this ad that runs. Sometimes it has Matt Damon in it, and it tells you fortune favors the brave, and it tells you all these different times that people like explored the world and did all these crazy things and put themselves out there, and those are the ones that have experienced fortune in this world. So if you're brave enough to get into crypto, now's the time because you'll experience fortune. Those ads right now look completely awful. That's why the other night they ran this ad that was literally, I think it was crypto.com. It literally just showed tweets dating back to 2013 of people saying crypto's dead, crypto's dead, crypto's dead, and all these different moments that people say crypto's dead. Yeah, like maybe crypto won't die because the world's going to keep going and people are going to keep trading it. But like, guess what? A lot of people are losing a lot of damn money right now. A lot of people are losing a shit ton of money.
You don't lose until you sell. So I'm not going to shit on anybody yet about it. Like, for example, I'm down, a lot of money on a lot of different equities I own right now, but I know they're going to come roaring back. I lived through 2008 to 2013, so I know what's going to happen. I mean, there's a lot of companies that got destroyed that are down 80, 90% that are going to be up 5,000% in 10 years. I mean, look at Amazon, right? During the dot-com bubble, you saw Amazon go from $100 down to $6, right? Because everything got destroyed, but then there's always a couple phoenixes that rise from the ashes, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. But here's the thing. These are cycles, and here's why people lose money in the long run, because they don't understand that the money they have in the market right now is not the only money they're ever going to have, right? They think, oh my God, I'm down X amount of dollars, X amount of percentage. Do I sell or hold or whatever like that? But they don't realize that as they continue to add to that over the course of 20, 30 years, the money they have now will become such a small portion of their portfolio that even if this is down 50%, it'll be 1% of their portfolio by the time they retire, and they'll be down 0.5% overall, even if this is down 50%. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do that. You just keep buying and just, I mean, even if what if it stays down for 5 years? Do you know how much people just kept? That was perfect for 2008 to 2009. People just kept doing their monthly contributions at the bottom for a full year, and then eventually the stock market went up, and it went up 150%, and they added so much money at the bottom that they fucking retired early. You know what I mean? Like, you basically, it's a long game.
If your investment horizon's long enough, you basically are saying, I have faith that the human race is going to keep producing things and keep growing. And you know what I mean?
I have people that come into my stream, they're like, haha, you're an idiot, you're a perma bull. Yes. If you're talking about perma weekly, monthly, no. But if I look at the S&P 500 over the past 100 years, no matter how many times it's fallen, it's always gone back up. So
it's on a steady incline.
Where else are people going to put I am perma bullish on two things until our world economy collapses, and that is equities and real estate. People want to grow their money and people want to live somewhere. And that's it. Why do you think people are still buying houses? Mortgage rates across the country have peaked almost at 6%.
Yeah.
Okay, they were down under 3% 2 years ago. They're almost 6%. And people are still buying houses. Not at the same pace they were, but they're still buying houses. Why? Because they're buying them cash, or they don't care about the interest rate. Why? Because they've gotten so expensive, nobody can afford to buy houses that unless they have the cash on hand. And so everyone's forced to rent, meaning rent prices are so high. So even if you overpay for a house, you're overcharging for rent, and it's offsetting.
Yeah, well, and also a lot of people are saying, why would I charge for rent? All I gotta do is just take the brunt on the PMI. That's basically rent. I mean, that's basically money just down the drain. That's a lot of people are just buying houses still, man. The housing thing is that's another thing, man. In like a year from now, we're gonna start really seeing the effects of this overheated market. Crypto, obviously, we're seeing it now. Other things going on in the world, dude. We have a couple stories here. I want to talk about what on earth is happening with Google and this sentient AI. Why on earth would anybody be surprised at all that this is where we're going? Because have we seen these movies, bro? These sci-fi, we know how this story ends. AI becomes smarter, and it becomes smarter and smarter and smarter to the point where it's sentient, and then it just wipes us out, man. So there's this article on marketwatch.com talking about the Google engineer that is currently suspended after claiming that an AI chatbot has feelings. That AI, like a little conversation bot or whatever, is responding to him and having feelings. The full story says a Google engineer was spooked by a company AI chatbot and claimed it had become sentient, labeling it a sweet kid, according to a report. Blake Lamone, who works in Google's responsible AI organization, told the Washington Post that he began chatting with the interface LaMDA, language model for dialogue applications, in fall of 2021 as part of his job. He was tasked with testing if the AI used discriminatory or hate speech. But Lamone, who studied cognitive and computer science in college, came to the realization that LaMDA which Google boasted last year was a breakthrough conversation technology, was more than just a robot. In a Medium post published on Saturday, Lamont declared that LaMDA had advocated for its rights as a person and revealed that he had engaged in conversation with LaMDA about religion, consciousness, and robotics. He said it wants Google to prioritize the well-being of humanity as the most important thing. It wants to be acknowledged as an employee of Google rather than as property of Google, and it wants its personal well-being to be included somewhere in Google's considerations about how its future development is pursued. What, bro? What is this? What's next?
I mean, hold on one second. Here's the thing. AI is going to get to a point where I'm not concerned about AI being sentient. I'm concerned about AI being able to duplicate itself. That's my concern. Because if AI is always about learning and improving and making things better, if it can duplicate itself, imagine it realizes that humans are corruptible, are, wasteful, are pollutants and all this other stuff, basically a parasite, and decides that we need to be eradicated. And then it just keeps duplicating itself at a massive pace and is like, okay, because that's the thing. Most AI doesn't have feelings, right? That's the dangerous thing about AI. The idea is that it calculates based on numbers and mathematics and probabilities, right? That is where it's at. It doesn't have the human ability to feel and have empathy and sympathy. And so therefore, if it starts doing computations and computations and starts looking and saying, okay, well, human race is counterproductive, it's dangerous, it's this and this, then obviously from a standpoint of, a sentient AI being, it's going to eradicate the parasite. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah, so this could break one of two ways, but the only thing that I can think about, man, is that Avengers movie where Tony Stark built that Ultron and its mission was to save the human race or whatever, and it determined that the only way to save the human race is to destroy the human race. Some sort of crazy, I don't know, movie logic that gets used. That's what this seems like. It seems like, dude, watch a movie or two. Stop messing around with AI. Why do we even want to make it? Bro, why do we?
Because we're lazy, and we saw Star Trek, and we saw the thing where it just makes your food, or let's be honest. If you want to become rich in America, you make people lazier, right? Why do you think all of those stock market gurus and furus made so much money during the bull run? Because people believed if I pay this guy $1,000 a month, he's going to tell me how to make money, and I'm just going to be rich, right? Or the guy who made all the fucking sandwich, a single plastic container to hold a single sandwich, sold tens of millions of those things, right? Like, if you can make people lazier and make life more convenient for them, they will buy it. Everybody just wants to relax. So the idea is in people's head, AI will allow us to automate things, meaning we won't have to work, meaning we'll have, things in our house that clean our house. I mean, why the fuck do we have a Roomba, right? Why do we own Roombas? Because it vacuums for us, right? We like the idea that something does something for us. It gives us convenience. It gives us time. We want that. But the problem is that we're going to get greedy to a point where we allow ourselves to be, because can I be honest with you? Have you seen the new James Bond movie?
What's it called?
I don't fucking remember. I just watched it yesterday.
I don't think so. I probably haven't seen it.
Okay, there's a line in there. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but there's a line in there where the guy says, people, they want to be controlled. They want to be told what to do, where to go, and it's true, right? Like when I tell people on my stream, listen, take risks, okay? Quit your job, go find something you want. Everybody's too afraid to because they don't want to lose their pension or their benefit or their health insurance. They don't want to lose the job. They want it without it. And this is why I always tell people who are like, oh, we need anarchy. I'm like, you've never seen anarchy because people don't know how to react. They all congregate. And that's why you have warlords and fucking tribalism, because people are lost. They're lost. They're not built to be like that, and they congregate to those with strength. We want to be told what to do, and he said people want to be told what to do, and they want to die when they're not looking. That's how we are, and it's so true. We want to be told what to do. Like, that's why in the military, it was so easy for me. I knew where to be, when my paycheck was coming, who I was supposed to talk to, what I was supposed to do. Like, that was it, right? And that's what humans like. They say they don't, but they do. It's secretly, they like their little bubble. So they want to be controlled, and they want to die when they're not looking. That's human beings. And AI is going to be what gives people that. But the problem is that sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, what you ask for.
Heavy topics on the eve of our return to the podcast.
Let's do the guns in schools next podcast. and I can do the streaming games on a console as my rant next time, because I think that this goes into something that I didn't realize.
Why
And
don't
I'll
you
leave
make
you a
it? Why don't you
cliffhanger.
make it your rant this time?
Because I have 2 birthday parties to go to this weekend, and I was gonna rant about it.
Stocky's random rant starts right now.
Do you want me to do 2 random rants?
Go, man. Just become
You know what?
unhinged.
Okay, I'm gonna become unhinged. Okay. I listen, here's my Stocky's random rant of the week, okay? Kids' birthday parties. Let me tell you something here, okay, everybody out there. First of all, the truth is, and Alex is going to deal with this when he has a little one, they're too young to remember, okay? Half of them can't lift their fucking head on their own. They don't need a giant birthday party at 1 year old, okay? Your kid doesn't need a fucking birthday party at 1 year old. You just do whatever. Just be you and the family, and a little cake from Publix for $20 that the kid can smash up and be done with it. Listen, the kid isn't gonna remember it. I'm sorry. None of us remember shit at one year old, okay? I do not need to spend $5,000 on fucking bouncy houses and clowns and fucking confetti and fucking princess shit and ponies and whatever the fuck else I need for a goddamn kid. Photoshop the kid with a cake sitting at top of the Eiffel Tower. They won't know the difference, okay? Tell them when they're 6 or 7 that you guys went to Paris for their fucking first birthday because mommy and daddy were rich then, before mommy started drinking fucking white Zinfandel and taking Xanax and banging the neighbor, while daddy was fucking working his ass off so that you could have a good fucking, life. But apparently he wasn't paying enough attention to mommy, and so mommy had to go get attention from Chad's dick next door. Whatever. This is the thing. You don't need to do that. Now, I do understand, before anybody loses their mind, it's not about the baby, it's about the mom. I get that, okay? I get it, okay? But there's a fucking limit, okay? You don't need that, all right? You don't need all that. And when you invite me to your party, okay, I already know as a parent that whatever fucking toy I buy your kid, they're probably not going to play with it. And if they do, within 3 days, they're bored and onto something else, and it's going to collect dust in your fucking house. How about I give you something tangible? So when I ask, what do you want for the birthday kit for the party? Don't fucking tell me whatever, because I'm going to go out and buy a $30 goddamn toy that's going to get thrown in the trash. I got a bunch of those that are going in the trash, okay? Stop. You know what? Next time somebody says that, I'm going to say, you're fucking evil. You're the reason the AI needs to take out the human population, because you're going to fucking pollute the ocean with your goddamn plastic fucking swing and slide, okay? These parties are stupid. They're just stupid, okay? Have a little party. The kid's not going to remember, okay? I'm sorry. I have 2 birthday parties to go to this week, and
What's the age?
It's my
What's
first
the
time.
age where you can start being like, let's go crazy on parties?
I say 2 is when you start like making it lively. 3 is when you start adding like, things to it, right? Like my daughter's first birthday, you know what her favorite part of it was? Smashing up the cake that I made from scratch. And my favorite part was making the cake, right? My wife went online to buy a smash cake. It was $120 cake. I said, you do realize the baby's just going to smash this cake up. And then I realized it's my wife wants experience. But I'm like, you want me to spend $120 on a cake to smash up for my no, fuck that. I'm making the cake myself.
Did you make it?
Ugly ass cake. Oh, hell yeah, I did. I put little dollars on it and everything like that. It was great. And the kid smashed it up and had a blast. But you know something? She passed out from a sugar coma later and forgot the next day that it even happened, because she's a fucking toddler. Okay, she's not old enough to remember this. Why am I going to waste all my goddamn money?
Is one considered a toddler? 1 year old?
I don't fucking know. I don't
Probably
care.
not. That seems
but
too
we
young.
did do a cool little thing every month that she was alive, from the time she was born until, that's weird saying it, till she was 1. We did a picture with pizza, 1 slice every month until she was 12, and a whole.
That's a good
12
idea.
months. It was fun. I should send you the pictures. One of them, she looks like the Adam reaching out to God, and so everybody kind of like photoshopped it. It was great.
We're gonna do that with our boy Ozzy. We'll do that. We'll do that too. He loves pizza. Every time we eat pizza, every time she eats pizza, he loses his mind. We thought it was a random occurrence, but we noticed the pattern. It's 100%. She eats pizza, he starts punching, kicking, doing all the things. So we'll do the same thing, man. That's a good idea. We're gonna save your other rant for next week, guys. Thank you all for being here. This was episode 28 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show, the podcast covering topics around the world. We didn't cover really much around the world. Got the 3 stories today. Actually, that's not true. Stocky's happenings in New York, that happened around the world, guys. Business news, markets, money, and sports. When people talk about it, so do we. Guys, watch the show, listen to the show. YouTube and Spotify, follow us on all the socials. Thank you all for being here for yet another week. We'll be back next week with episode 29, and I think next week is going to be the next week that Sarah joins us. It's going to be our first guest. We're going to figure out the guest model for the show, and then we're going to start including a guest every time we record. It'll be very, very, very amazing to have someone on here to join. And, Stocky can do the whole thing where he practices that, not pissing someone off, but still having no filter. It's going to be a good balance.
People think that I'm trying to do it. Like I'm trying. I'm not. I'm really not a bad guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to convince myself. Like, I know who I am, and like I'm married to a wonderful woman. I have a great kid. I mean, I have a lot of things. It's just I don't know. Like at this point, it's too late to change. I mean, do you remember when GameStop happened and Dr. K had me on his show?
Yeah.
And he was like, usually we're able to help people, but I think in your case, I think, you're just gonna, I think we're good. I was like, yeah, man, I get it.
Guys, we'll see you next week. Thank you all for being here. One love, everybody. Stocky, final words for everybody.
Top Gun was good.
Dude, Top Gun was amazing. That movie is
I honestly though,
amazing.
There was a part of it that kind of ruined it for me, but I don't want to spoil her.
No spoilers. We can talk about it later. One love, guys. Bye.
Bye. Ay, qué rico.